All right. So now you got a legal entity. You know how to auto bill your client. You know the services that you're gonna provide. You know how to hire the right people for those services. Now, what I like to touch base on now is office versus remote. So, are you gonna have your own office and the team in your office, or are you all gonna work remotely? Office has its benefits and its downfalls, and so does remote. So I want to touch base on these two possible options, see which one is better, and tell you how Blue Fox was able to scale to $100,000 in less than 10 months, and which one of these two options we picked. So there's Office versus remote. Okay, so start with the benefit of having an office. My favorite benefit of having an office is proximity, which means I am close with the people that I'm gonna work with. Um, Communication, it's more likely to be clear and effective. And another thing that I really like of having an office, excuse me, is control. So I'm big into being able to control your agency. As you scale bigger and bigger and bigger, there's going to be more projects, more people other than you are going to have bigger responsibilities. You need to make sure that you have control over the overall aspect of the business. If something it's not working, you gotta be able to change it fast. And being in an office allows you to do that because you're very close with the people that you work with. You're gonna be able to go to their desk, tell them, "Hey, let's change this really quick." So control is a benefit that comes from proximity. Another benefit of having your office, your own office, is speed. This is something that Gary V really talks about, is being able to work at a very fast pace. There's a project needs to be done fast. Communication needs to be clear because you got to communicate with your team what the client wants, and the execution and delivery of the project needs to be fast. If you're all in the same room or all in the same building, then that becomes more natural, right? If you have VAs in the Philippines or you have people in other time zones and you want to get this work done now, it's going to be more difficult. It's not going to be impossible, but it's going to be a little more difficult. So that's one of the benefits that comes from having your own office. Now, the problem with the office setup, let me put office versus remote. The problem that you have with the office setup is expensive, right? Cash is king. Cash will keep your business running. When you run out of cash, you can't pay employees, you can't pay your rent. You start thinking of problems that might not be long-term problems. You try to find short-term solution to long-term problems because of the cash issue, and that's just snowballs into bigger problems. So keeping your cash, it's very important. That's why the office might not be a good alternative when you start off. We were able to find a startup incubator. That's how we started. It was a place that was financed by the city where you can have your own office space for very cheap, and then you have your electricity paid for, internet paid for, and that's like an incubator. It's like is the same concept when a baby is born premature, because that's what a business is. It's just a little premature baby, and you need to have an environment where this baby can grow. And so these type of setups allow you to have office space and the perks of an office space for less than an office would be. You don't have to get locked in a contract with Comcast that it's going to ask you for a 3-year minimum contract and 20% of and 80% of the remaining of the contract if you decide to cancel early. PG&E, liability insurance, like all these type of things, costs that are associated with an office are gone when you have an incubator. So incubator, way to go. Research it close to your location, because there's probably is one. If there isn't, try to work a deal with a friend of yours that has an office space, or talk to a landlord. Like, just make sure that you explore all possibilities. So this is expensive, so that's an issue. Now, remote. What are the benefits of working remote? Well, if one of the problems with an office was being expensive, working remote can be cheaper. Cheaper, right? Not that doesn't mean that can't be expensive, because talent is expensive. You know, people that know what they do are gonna ask you for their worth, like we are with our services, right? We know that our services perform and deliver results for our clients. That means that we can charge a premium for those services. And same with the people that you're gonna be able to work with. If they know that they're good, then they're gonna be a little more costly. But if they are remote, then you're gonna be able to find a better deal. So remote, working people remotely, it's cheaper. The issue that I have with working remotely is that there is a communication gap. So there, by taking proximity completely out of the equation and only working through, like, Skype or Hangouts or whichever platform you decide to use, Zoom, you're gonna have more of a communication gap. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's definitely possible if you find a way to work remotely and don't sacrifice communication. That I think that that's the best choice for you. However, you got to be very organized and precise. If organization and precision are not your best skills, then maybe start in an office and test out the remote side. But another thing for remote is communication gap, and then the lack of control. You don't have control over the project as much as you would in your office. In your office, you can peek over the shoulder of an employee that's working on something, and then you can see a problem before it becomes a bigger problem. So, not micromanagement, but you gotta, the control, it's a huge factor for me. Now, we are in an office, but Blue Fox Media works as a blend of both. So I wanted to share with you exactly the practices and the models that I use to grow the agency so that you can do the same. Try to find a happy medium. Your core team, the people that really are the lifeblood of the business, that are with you every single day, you guys should all be together under the same roof, working on the same project and just building this bond. Being close to somebody, you're building a relationship, a bond, and that will seriously help your business. However, there is certain projects that don't require a person to be in the office as much as you do. So for those people, remote is a better setting. So for example, for web designers, because we don't do website included in our package, those are upsells. So there is no reason to have a web designer in here every single day, because there's not enough work for him to do. Same with videographers and photographers. They don't need to be in the office. They should be out there doing videos, doing photos, and then they send us all of the information through Dropbox. So the only time that they come in the office is for weekly meetings. They come in the office to discuss upcoming projects. They talk with their account manager. They figure out exactly what type of content the client needs. They get in contact with the client and they schedule a time. But we're going to talk about systems in, I believe it's chapter 6, where I completely lay out the communication that the media team has with account manager, the director of sales with the sales with the account manager, and my role in the company to make sure that everybody is happy is delivering for the client, and it's doing their job. So I recommend that you find a gap, find the people, that you find not a gap, that you find a blend of both. This is how Blue Fox Media was it's structured. Like again, I will repeat it. Find people that are the core of the business, put them in the same room, and then remotely work with people on a project base. I hope this helped you out. In the next video, we're gonna talk about the contracts that you're gonna have for both employees, for employees, contractors, and for your clients. And for your clients, you're gonna have retainer contracts, funnel leasing contracts, and website contracts. So, see you next time.